Cup, and now we're going to Vancouver for the Western Final.
Thank you, Mark. We're at BC Place Stadium and just underway in the Western Final. The Calgary Stampeders open the game with a completion from Dave Dickinson to Travis Moore for a first down, and now they're looking at 2nd and 8. And Dickinson back to pass over the middle, and Alan Pitts somehow reeled it in after an initial bobble, being watched by Dale Joseph.
Right you are, Chris, and this is exactly what they want to do. They want to get one-on-one coverage, get picked up by Dale Joseph, takes him and cuts it back in. Nice rounding off route into the middle of the field. And Dave Dickinson with plenty of time to throw the football. Puts the money right on. Paul Lacoste coming on the blitz, picked up nice by Rock Preston. And Alan Pitts, after initial juggling, brings it down for a catch.
So the top 2 receivers in the Canadian Football League this year have catches on the opening drive. Dickinson stuttering the cadence, and now delivering. Pitts brings that one down. Leaping high, climbing the ladder, and showcasing his top receiver status all time in the CFL.
Well, right you are. Dave Dickinson, flanked by Dwayne Ford. Rock Preston. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? In for Calvin Anderson. Of course, the receiving corps. Alan Pitts, Danielson, Travis Moore, Marcus Dowdell on the outside. That big offensive line getting stronger every week, but the Fred Childress and Thomas Raham, Rocco Romano, McNeil, and Crysdale rounding out that fine group.
Last week, opening drive against Edmonton, 4 plays, 71 yards, and a touchdown. This is the 4th play of this drive, and Dickinson takes a look, has another completion, and once again, it's Travis Moore with his 2nd catch of the game.
Well, they're coming out. They're just moving the ball around right now. They're not sitting Dickinson straight in the back pocket right now. Offensive line crushes the defensive line. These guys, Johnny Scott, Noah Kantner in place of Dave Chaters, Herman the Herminator Smith at defensive end. The linebacker crew, the Rookie of the Year, maybe Paul Lacoste, Benefield Defensive Player of the Year, maybe, and Antonio Armstrong. And the defensive backs, Dale Joseph, Lewis, Thomas and Robinson, the wrecker, Carter and Ball at the corner.
The ball just inside the 10, 1st and goal. After the 12-yard catch, here's Rock Preston. And Preston with a short gain, bottled up. Antonio Armstrong and the middle linebacker, top rookie out of the West, Paul Lacoste. They say they don't lose much with Rock Preston carrying the ball.
He's a big north-south runner. What I mean, he hits a hole. He's not going to dance. He's just going to go right there, right now. The biggest thing about him, he loves this kind of conditions right now. No weather factors. Good turf. Give me the football. He's had good success against these BC Lions.
Used to be the running mate of Warwick Dunn at Florida State. And now Preston pressed into service, replacing the injured Kelvin Anderson. 2nd and goal. Dickinson out of the shotgun. A lot of time. Steps up. Jump ball in the end zone and knocked down. Pass intended for Travis Moore, but Scott Thomas was there in coverage for BC.
Well, I tell you what's happening here, Chris, so far is the offensive line of the Calgary Stampeders is giving them all times of day. Look at this. He can take off right there. There's a zone to take off with the football. He initially tries to throw the ball to Travis Moore. Well covered in the back of the end zone by Scott Thomas. They'll settle for 3, but a good opening drive by the Calgary Stampeders against the big defense, the quick defense of the BC Lions.
Without the finishing touches of the opening drive a week ago, but Dave Dickinson talked about making early progress in this game against BC, and they do that off the toe of Mark McLaughlin. The Stampeders strike first. Just under 5 minutes gone in the Western Final.
If you're in the West, the road to the Grey Cup begins and ends at BC Place. Mark McLaughlin with a 15-yard field goal in the opening quarter put the Stamps up by 3. Here's Mike Pinball Clemens. Your initial thought, Mike, on the way the Stamps moved the ball?
Dave Dickinson moved the ball methodically down the field, and you know who was the key? Alan Bottomless Pitts. I love him. He's done a great job already.
Mike Pinball Clemens will be here with pinpoints throughout the game. Right now, back up to Chris and Chris, guys.
Hamilton Tiger Cats have confirmed their reservation. Who will they play? BC Lions anxious to get their hands on the football, and here's Jimmy the Jet Cunningham. Led the CFL in kickoff returns this year. Kevin Johnson limits the return to 14 yards.
As you see Damon Allen entering the field, a lot of people saying, is he going to respond to the biggest game? Yes, he is. He wants to make it the 4th trip to the Grey Cup. Robert Drummond, Mark Nora in the backfield, the receiving crew, downtown Eddie Brown, Action Jackson, Donnie Blair, Rod Harris, and the big offensive line. Elwanibi, Mantika, Hardin Payne, and Jamie Terrace.
First carry of the game for Robert Drummond, who was campaigning very loudly yesterday. Put it in my hands. Give it to me 25 times and we'll get the job done.
Well, he basically says if I get the ball enough and I get enough yardage because of that, I guarantee a victory. It's going to be up to these guys to stop him right there. Jermaine Miles, Traversy, Mark Gunn, and of course Steve Anderson on the defensive end. The big addition, obviously, Alondra Johnson back in the middle, came back last week after missing a few games with a knee injury. Darryl Hall, and of course a great secondary, Kellogg, Chris, Frere, Coleman, and Hampton at the corners.
Drummond, who was second in rushing behind only Mike Pringle, got 6 on his first carry, and now Allen will carry the football and gets the first down. We talked about this. The running game of BC is two-pronged with Allen and Drummond.
Well, most definitely, and that's the thing. You cannot solely concentrate on Robert Drummond. This is a planned play. All he's going to do is going to take a step back, wait for the blocking to develop, and take off with the football. I really believe that if BC wants to really be successful and really confuse the Calgary defense, you're going to see a lot of Damon Allen doing just exactly that.
15-year veteran in this, his 16th playoff game. First down, Allen, the quick hitter, incomplete. He was looking for Eddie Brown, who was much talked about this week. There were stories flying that Brown would not suit up, but Rocky Henry has been plagued with migraines throughout the week, and Greg Mons elected to go with the veteran Brown.
You know, they've had this controversy in this locker room the whole year. They say they check their eagles before they go on the football field. They've got a lot of talented players right now. As a result, they've all got to just do their part. Park it, get it going, put the drive, and win the football game.
Brown was 7 touchdowns in playoff action in his 10-year career. It's 2nd and 10, and Allen going up top for Robert Drummond, and the pass overthrown.
The pass was overthrown, but I really think that Robert Drummond didn't expect the ball to be thrown to him. He kind of slowed down halfway through his route and then picked it up and hit second gear. But unfortunately, at that time, the ball was way over his head.
Chris, we've seen throughout Drummond's career, he's a great receiver, but Calgary has limited the damage from Drummond in the air this year. Just 9 catches, 40 yards in the 4 meetings.
But I'm sure they saw something, Chris, and what they'll try and do is they're going to try and get the ball in Robert Drummond's hand any way possible. If it's not handing it off to him, it's going to be thrown to the football. We'll see what happens when we come back after this.
Chamber of Commerce Day here in Vancouver. One of those November days you wish you could roll back the roof.
Or at least poke a hole in it, but unfortunately we can't do that with this. A big place here at BC Play.
Wally Buono in his 9th Western Final, the first for Greg Mons. Just a 29-yard punt by Pasaglia gives Calgary the ball at their own 35, and stopped in the backfield behind the line of scrimmage was Rock Preston as the Herminator got in with great penetration.
This guy has really come on this year and played very well. He especially likes to play against the Calgary Stampeders. He got 4 sacks in the 3 games he did play against them. Always gets good penetration. You see him beating the man, coming up, and taking the Rock's ankles out from underneath him. Nice job by the Herminator.
3 All-Stars up front for BC. Herman Smith, Johnny Scott, and David Benefield. And it's 2nd and 10. Dickinson in trouble, and down he goes for the first time in the afternoon. Dave Chaters, a Calgary boy, comes up with a tackle.
Well, Dave Chaters comes up with a tackle, but we just mentioned the guy, the Herminator. This is caused by number 91, Herman Smith. He beats his man to the outside, Jay McNeil. He has no time. Dickinson has no time to set up. 91 is right there. As a result, he has to pull the ball down. Dave Chaters wraps him up for the sack, and as you say, Calgary boy does good.
That's a sweet one for Chaters. 1 sack this year, an injury-plagued season, and that sack came in the first regular season game. Cunningham awaiting the punt from Tony Martino. the native of Kelowna, BC. Cunningham from the 41 of the Lions. He'll turn back and can't find a seam. He'll lose 3 on the return after a 41-yard punt.
Well, this is a great job. Here's some game notes for you. Offense, I talked about this. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? I mean, that is Brock Preston. Will he be the answer? Will he cook the Lions? On defense, you've got to silence the drum. Limit Robert Drummond's success running the football. For BC, I really believe you got to go deep or go home. Use your weapons. You got the jet, you got Action Jackson, and you got downtown Eddie Brown. Use these guys. And on defense, punish Dickinson. Crash him, bash him, thrash him.
Well, they've already gone vertical to Drummond unsuccessfully, and they've sacked Dickinson in this opening quarter. And now Allen once again on the run. Not much there. Kevin Johnson, the rookie linebacker from Ohio State, has the tackle.
I really like what he's doing right now. The fact that he's doing this quarterback draw, just taking the football, it's an empty backfield. He's just looking for a place to run. The option he does have now is he can throw the football. If something's there, he'll run. If not, he'll toss the football because all the receivers and Robert Drummond is out in a pass route. Good choice.
Second down, 8. And an extra DB checks in for the Stampeders. Allen rolling, looking downfield. Jimmy Cunningham just by the fingertips of the Jet.
Chris, we talked about this back right here. Go deep or go home. And why I said that was in the games previous when BC has played Calgary, they haven't gone deep. What that means is your cornerbacks, Coleman and Hampton, are not turning their hips. They're staying and they're keeping the receiver in front of them because all the action is in front of them. When you go deep, the quarterbacks have to turn their hips and chase. This is a great way to get them to play honest.
You should have been an offensive coordinator. I heard you campaigning with Allen yesterday when we talked to Damon about going deep, and looks like you got in his ear. They've tried it twice. And here's Marvin Coleman. Coleman finds some running room, and he's past the 40-yard line. Antonio Armstrong drills him out at the Calgary bench, but it's a 24-yard Coleman return. 5:38 remaining first quarter. Dave Dickinson on the opening drive of the game produced a field goal, and here's the return by Marvin Coleman.
Well, I really like what he's doing right here. Look at that right there. Kevin Johnson does a great job of not blocking from the rear. Puts his hands up in front of the referee, does not get the flag, allowing a nice return by Marvin Coleman.
Dickinson 9-3 as the Calgary starter this year. Back to pass. Out to Dwayne Ford. Short yardage to the 48. Pickup of 3 for the fullback, who already has 2 Grey Cup rings with the Stamps.
I mean, when you got a guy this big, 6 foot 230, and he's chiseled, I mean, this man's in great shape. Doesn't catch a lot of passes, but I really think when you don't throw a ball a lot to the fullback, a lot of teams will forget about you. Now's the time to spring Dwayne Ford on it. Give him the football, let him surprise the BC defense.
Ford now comes out for an extra receiver on 2nd and 7. And flag stops the play. Looked like one of the offensive linemen pulled up quick.
Thomas Rayam kind of anticipating the count. Got a little jump back in his set. Try to get set up a little early.
Procedure. Calgary number 53. Still second down.
Got to tell you, I was reassured about the construction of this facility yesterday when you, Rayam, at 330 pounds and Fred Childress at 335 were standing in the same area on a fault line, and the floor didn't buckle.
There you go, big man.
Second down, 12. Dickinson down again. Second time in the first quarter, and Herman Smith chalks that one up.
Well, we talked about Herman Smith. We talked about the fact that Thomas Rayam on the play previous got a quick start. Why did he get a quick start? Because he's got a block, number 91, the Herminator. You got to get set as an offensive tackle. He tried to cheat the play before, got caught for it on procedure. This time, Herman Smith just uses his outright foot speed, beats him around the corner, and as you say, sacks Dickinson for the second time today.
Stampeders were last in that category this season. allowing 59 and already 2 to start this game.
And it's almost like the BC defense is kind of relaxed a little bit after the opening drive where Calgary had very good success and marched all the way down the field. BC's kind of made some adjustments and are playing very well right now.
Booming punt by Martino, but Cunningham, a better return up to the 29-yard line. Calgary really shut down the gizmo last week. 16 yards for Cunningham.
Beautiful day in supernatural BC. Calgary leads 3-0 over the British Columbia Lions. What a barn burner it was in Montreal. The Hamilton Tiger Cats got by 27-26 on a last couple of minutes touchdown by Ronald Williams. The Grey Cup next Sunday here at BC Place. 3 o'clock coverage begins. Chris?
Here's Allen, play action, and tried to go deep again. It's picked off after the tip. Melandra Johnson has his second interception of the playoffs, and AJ takes it back to the 16-yard line. Jeff Traversy tipped the ball, and it lands in Johnson's hands.
Well, there, for every action, there is a reaction. And I'm going to tell you right now, Jeff Traversy does a nice job of beating the offensive lineman, putting pressure on him, knocking Damon Allen's arm in the throwing motion. The ball is deflected, goes up, and as you say, A.J. Alondra Johnson comes down with a nice interception, a key play, and gives Calgary excellent field position to start this drive.
Traversy's fired up. That front four for Calgary doesn't get nearly the amount of attention that the BC front gets. Everybody talked about minimizing turnovers. Let's see if Calgary can capitalize on the first big turnover of the day. Dickinson tried to dump it off, and Dave Chaters is there and gets his hands on the football.
Dave Chaters does an excellent job of not rushing the passer. He plays a spy technique. Almost as he's anticipating Brock Preston or the back in the backfield to sneak out on a screen or a draw. He just sits there, stays on the line of scrimmage, just does a little hand fighting with Fred Childress, and then gets up, puts his mitt on the paw or his paw on the ball and knocks it down. Nice play by 74 of the BC Lions.
Bothered by a bad back all season long. Noah Cantor got the start today, but Chaters is playing his way back into the defense. Second down, Dickinson steps up, unloads, Aubrey Cummings shakes a tackle and lunges to the 6. He'll be close to a first down on the second effort.
Well, second effort not only by Aubrey Cummings, but by Dave Dickinson. He knows the heat is coming. He knows he's only got so much time to get rid of the football. Johnny Scott is going to be right on his backside, tackles him just as he throws the football. Aubrey Cummings, what I really like about this play, puts his hand down. That's great balance. Don't let that knee hit the turf and struggles. Now they're going to measure for the first down.
Cummings had a touchdown last year in the Western Final, a couple of grabs in the Grey Cup game, and look at that. First down. And full marks to the Acadia grad for getting there.
Exceptional effort, and it's those individual efforts like that where you go above and beyond what you're normally going to do in this type of a football game that rubs off on your teammates, brings everybody up a level.
Second time inside the 10 for the Stampeders, who had to settle for 3 the last time they knocked at the door. Bootleg, Dickinson, end zone touchdown. Vince Danielson, the Vancouver native, has the first major of this Western Final.
The first major, Chris, and I'll tell you what, Vince Danielson did this on his own. He broke off his route and decided the quarterback, he was going to come onto that side of the field. Anytime you roll a quarterback to one side of the football field, you don't have the opportunity to really throw back. He's coming to the left. As he rolls to the left, Vince Danielson breaks off his pattern and comes in across from the right to the left, right in front of Travis Moore, makes a touchdown grab, and they don't care who makes the grab. It's 7 points.
Won a provincial high school championship in this stadium as a youngster. Danielson, a 6-year vet, playing his first ever playoff game on the road. And he has a major score and a 10-0 Calgary lead.
My man got
Vince Danielson, the former UBC quarterback.
Say hi to Rand, Carla,
I just love this. I mean, it's a play action pass. That's what they got to do. Get him some time to throw the football. But what I really like is how you just don't teach this. This is playing. He comes across the field, breaks off his pattern, looks to help the quarterback, and catches the football in front of Travis Moore. Does a great job of going to where he can help the quarterback and comes up with a great touchdown catch.
Danielson had the knee drain this week that has been giving him trouble during the second half of this season.
You know, Chris, let's talk about what's the key play of that drive. On my mind, Aubrey Cummings with the extra effort to get that first down to allow them to continue the drive.
So the Lions in an early hole. The Jets down by Kevin Johnson after a 19-yard kickoff return, and Johnson's made an impact in this opening quarter. Well, this will be a test of the veteran leadership of Damon Allen, now having to play catch-up with 1:48 remaining in the opening quarter.
You know, the biggest thing, Chris, is they kind of come out and they do certain things to kind of see what the defense is going to do, but now they got to go back to their original game plan. Let's make something work. Let's get some points on the football.
Back to Drummond. And Robert Drummond with 4 yards. Drummond revved up his teammates at the end of practice yesterday. He got to make the final address of the practice. And I was surprised. He told me, Chris, that this is a better team than the Toronto Argonaut Club he won 2 Grey Cups with, a better team than the Baltimore Stallion. And he won a Grey Cup with them as well.
Well, that is really high marks for his teammates he's got right now. I mean, those are 2 great squads that he's played with previously.
Second down, Allen nearly picked off by William Hampton. And David Allen is 0 for 5 out of the gate in the Western Final.
He's 0 for 5, and one of the things that I really like to look back on as we talked to AJ, Alondra Johnson yesterday of the Calgary Stampeders, he really feels that the week off did not hurt the Calgary Stampeders at all. He feels they're on a roll. They've got the momentum. They do not care if they're playing in BC Place. It's just another game, another park. They feel they're going to come in here, get the victory, not steal a victory, get the victory and go to the Cup.
Well, the Stamps have tried it both ways. That punt blocked partially. And one of the upmen takes it at the 51-yard line. But Louis Pasaglia had that one partially blocked. Dwayne Ford, the fullback, and right now Calgary's operating on all cylinders in all 3 phases of the game.
You're right, Chris. It's 10-0 right now.
BC number 33, first down.
But the punt is not one of Louis' finest. As a result, the cover team can't anticipate where the ball is going to come down. They get caught in the 5-yard zone. Now, after the penalty, Calgary again starting an excellent field position inside BC's side of the football field.
After the penalty, you can see Greg Mond's unhappy about something that led to the block, but it's just a net of 7 yards. And Calgary threatening again. Fake to Preston. Dickinson can't get away, and Herman Smith is there again. His second sack of this first quarter.
Well, he is a presence, and I mean, it's one thing to be a defensive end that's got smarts and technique, and you can beat the pass rush, but you just don't teach speed. I mean, that just is God-given, and he just does this right now. Comes inside, little play action again. That's all they're going to try and do. Fake him, trying to get him outside. Now, he's already gone inside, reading the play action pass, but he's got enough speed to get out there and corral Dave Dickens for his second sack of the football game.
A loss of 7, 2nd and 17. Better protection. Dickinson looking downfield. Some bumping down there. The pass falls incomplete. Danielson and Moore were in the same area. Not sure which was the intended receiver, but it'll be 3rd down at the end of 1 quarter of play. Stampeders dominating the Western Final.
the CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Dodge, proud automotive sponsor of the CFL.
Dave Dickinson just conferring with Pat Clayton, the athletic therapist of the Calgary Stampeders, and Mike McCoy is warming up. So you have to wonder if one of those 3 sacks has aggravated the shoulder problems that Dickinson has been bothered with all year long.
Well, you see he's rubbing the blood off his nose right there, but you know, he is really taking a pounding right now. Herman Smith, Chaders, Johnny Scott have just laid a licking on him. We talked about one of the keys this game would be to thrash him and crash him, and boy, they're really doing a good job of laying the lumber on him, and just when he thinks he's free of it, again, he's getting hit again.
Well, Dickinson may have to undergo surgery on the left shoulder at the end of the season, not his passing arm. 3rd down, and Martino to punt the ball away. Jimmy Cunningham from his 7, and not much doing. Boy, downfield quickly again. Aldi Henry, 46-yard punt. Only 6 on the return, and the numbers really indicate why. It's Calgary up early.
I mean, come on. What did Calgary say? We want to take them out of the game. Take the crowd noise out of the game. Right here, time of possession, 10:21 to 4:39. First downs, 5 for Calgary, 1 to BC. Right here, look at this stat here. Damon Allen, not 1 yard passing in the first quarter. They got to pick it up now and quickly. Don't have any chance of going for the big game next week.
Allen passed for 4,219 yards during the regular season, and you know he can run as well, and he's ball came loose. Let's see if they ruled the play dead. BC's on it. In any event, Allen also rushed for 785 yards. And Robert Drummond didn't save that for the Lions.
Well, when they had success against the Calgary Stampeders, both Damon Allen and Robert Drummond had big games rushing the football. One game over 260 yards rushing. I mean, and that is what's happened. This is the 3rd time today that we've seen Damon Allen take the football on a preordained quarterback draw.
Surprised they ruled out a fumble. Looked like the ground made him fumble on contact. Drummond now, and they're even with a 10-point deficit, trying to get this ground game rolling.
Well, let's talk. You know what? 10 points is absolutely nothing in 1 quarter. You still got 3 quarters of football to play right now. Keep your offensive game package the same. Don't start panicking right now and throwing everybody else to the wind right now. You know you've got a great running back in Robert Drummond. You got the big hoggies up front. Get them in the game. Get their psyche up.
2nd and 4. There's the first completion to the fullback, Mark Nora. And big yardage up the sidelines. He's ruled out at the 49. Nora taking it to the house, but he'll have to come back. That's the initial completion of the game for the BC Lions.
And a big one at that, Chris. Mark Nora just slides out of the backfield, looking like he's going to block. Right out, releases to the left flat. Damon Allen puts in his hands, and then it's off to the races, down the sideline. And Calgary Stampeders are very fortunate that he stepped out of bounds on the white line, and a good call by the referee.
That was quite clear there that he did step out. Nevertheless, a first down for BC at their own 49, and Allen, a slingshot short of the intended receiver, Alfred Jackson.
And we know one thing, that Damon Allen has been bothered by a rotator cuff injury in his throwing shoulder. And I tell you right now, I think it is affecting his throwing strength. That ball was underthrown. It was to the right place. It was to the right guy, just not strong enough. It just drops right in front of the receiver, and boy, that's something you hate to see.
They felt the extra week off would benefit him. There's Danny Barrett, who works with Allen, along with Joe Powell. There's no shortage of great offensive masterminds, and another pass knocked down. How about these defensive linemen and the defense's Jackie Kellogg stepping up on the blitz, knocked that pass down.
Well, they brought everybody on that play. They brought Jackie Kellogg. They brought Darryl Hall. I mean, you don't have enough guys. It's just slide protection. He's free. Look, he's just wide open free. But Jackie Kellogg, number 3, who jumps up and actually knocks the football down. That's your halfback. He's in the game coming. So Calgary right now, the defensive scheme right now is not to lay back and play conservative. It's going to be, we're going to be in your face, and anything you get, you're going to have to earn.
Two-time All-Canadian Marvin Coleman from his 20. Down at the 25-yard line. 41 yards on the punt, 5 Pasaglia, 5 on the return.
Nothing. Calgary leads over British Columbia. Good crowd here at BC Place to see the Stamps lead so far. Dave Dickinson is favoring his left shoulder. He was shaking his head, concern on the Stampeders sidelines. Pinball beyond that, though, he's got a dilemma.
He does have a dilemma. He's got to decide whether to get rid of the ball or deliver it. 3 drives he's gotten sacked. The other 2 he hasn't gotten sacked, and they've scored.
McCoy is on the sidelines waiting to see what happens. Here we go, back to Chris.
And again, the play stopped on an illegal procedure before it got underway. We talked to Dickinson about that yesterday. He says he's not holding on to the ball as long.
Procedure. Calgary number 50, still first down.
Jay McNeil called for procedure, the left guard.
You know one thing, Chris, that we really haven't elaborated on, but the fact is, this place is deafening the roar, and they're playing music a little over by the time the quarterback gets over the football. The crowd is getting into it, so your offensive lineman can't really hear the snap count. They got to mentally kind of make their own snap count in their head, knowing Dave Dickinson's rhythm of calling it. So sometimes they jump off.
They practiced the silent count last week. Dickinson under pressure and down again. And how long can he last with this kind of punishment? Antonio Armstrong got to him that time.
Chris, you're absolutely right. They're bringing everybody up. You can see right there, Raphael Robinson, number 22, Johnny Scott coming up there. Shaders, Antonio Armstrong wraps him up. Benefield, the whole crew is there. But what's happening right now is Calgary got to say, you know what, if they're going to bring 7 guys, we may not be able to sit back in a drop-back situation. Let's run a draw. Let's run a screen pass. Mix it up. Make the defensive line and linebackers start to play a little bit more honest.
Second and 18. Dickinson quickly out to Dowdell. Marcus Dowdell with a burst over the 30-yard line. He'll be short of the first down, but they get out of a bit of a hole in their own zone.
Short out of the first down, but a smart call. We just talked about the fact that they're going to bring everybody. You can't cover everybody. So he just flings the ball over to Marcus Dowdell, who does a nice job of catching that football before it hits the turf. But that's what you got to do. Remembering, you bring 7, somebody's got to be open. Get rid of the football and then find the open guy and use all your weapons quickly. Don't sit back there in a drop back when BC is going to bring that many guys in your face.
Here's Cunningham. Number 2 to Winston October in punt returns this year. Winston October, who took one back in the Eastern Final today, looked like he might have been Mr. November until the Cats came back. Cunningham, nice move. Jimmy Cunningham caught from behind. And Dwayne Ford, who's had a heck of a first half, made perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle. 27 on the return for number 21.
Well, we've seen the defense time and time again, the BC Lions defense playing well. Knocking, crashing Dave Dickinson. We've seen special teams now by Jimmy DeJet. It's time for the offense of the BC Lions to wake up and do their part.
Yes, 2 of the 3 phases for the Lions have done the job. But this offense has sputtered for much of the season. And now Allen under pressure, and he is down as Steve Anderson has a sack for Calgary.
Well, they just, no trickery, a little bit of a twist there. Steve Anderson's just going to come around, do a little loop job, go inside, work his way around. He just beats the guy. I mean, that's just one-on-one. You got to be able to switch those stunts off. They don't. As a result, Damon Allen thrown to the turf for a sack, making it 2nd and long. And if you're Calgary's defense, this is what you want to put them in this kind of situation.
2nd and 18. It's been a tough first half for your colleagues on the offensive lines. Allen over the middle, and Ron Harris was caught up in traffic with Jack Kellogg on the pass falls
You know,
incomplete.
Chris, I'm BC Lion here. I'm thinking I'm in their shoes right now. This is my home park. I've wanted to win the Western, you know, to go to the West to wrap up first place. I've done it. I'm hosting the final game right now. Calgary is playing loose. They're playing great right now. BC is playing us on offense very uptight right now. They do not look good. They look all scattered. They don't look like they're on the same page.
5 punts and 1 interception in the 6 possessions. And here's Coleman trying to answer back after Cunningham's fine return. And Coleman takes this one back 13 after the 43-yard punt by Lewis.
Okay. You're saying if the kicker misses, we still get a point? Come on.
That's unless they kick it out.
Kick it out. You boys are playing with me now.
No. It's called the rouge.
The rouge?
It means red.
Should we tell him about the 3 downs?
Hey, Coach! Coach!
Nah, I think he's had enough for one day.
They're doing it again! Nothing here for the Calgary Stampeders. Let's talk about defense, Pinball, on both sides of the ball. Something's got to happen for BC.
No doubt about it. BC has to make something happen, either on defense or special teams, because their offense is struggling. They need an impetus.
But Calgary's defense is making things happen for them.
They are, and they're getting their hands in the face of Damon Allen, disrupting the ball, even created a turnover that way.
All right, up to you, Chris.
Boy, Dave Dickinson's been cool, and a completion to Alan Pitts.
Well, you know, you gotta love the way this Dave Dickinson guy's hanging in here. I mean, he's hurting. He'll throw the football, and after you'll see he grabs his arm. He's holding it. It's hurt. He's in pain. He's taken a beating so far, but he hangs in there, delivers the ball nicely, sharply to Alan Pitts to move the sticks.
Yeah, the danger here is winning the battle and losing the war. You want to preserve Dickinson if you believe you've got another game. Looked like the Lions jumped early, and Rock Preston nailed behind the line of scrimmage. And we'll find out if the BC Lions defense was drawn offside.
Well, that would be definitely the indication of bringing 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage. Benefield, Johnny Scott.
Offside. BC number 56. Still first down.
Dave Benefield, up for most outstanding player in the CFL, representing the Western Division. Just a little eager on that play to get in the backfield and put the clamps on the Rock Preston.
So it's 1st and 5. Greg Mon said he wanted his defense to hit Dickinson a dozen, up to 14 times in the game. He may be up there already, but look at Alan Pitts, wide open. Oh, what a block! And Pitts is down near the 30-yard line. A crushing block delivered by Aubrey Cummings on Scott Thomas.
Oh, that's right. I mean, that's excellent. That is just doing everything, selling out for your team. You're not the guy making the catch. You're not the guy throwing the football. You're unsung. But just a little swing pass over the middle to Alan Pitts. And you just watch, number 87 is going to come into your screen right now. And hello, Mr. Scott Thomas. That is a great job of being unselfish and contributing to your football team.
They mark the ball at the BC 32. First down for the Stampeders. Play action, Dickinson. Low bridge, and that pass batted down as Benefield.
Well, I'll tell you what, they are all over Benefield, Noah Cantner, steamrolled them. We're not talking just getting your hands up and deflecting the football. We're just saying, you are in our path. We are running a 100-yard dash. Wherever you set up, we will run right over you. He sets up, they just run right over him. There's no stopping. They're going to have to give Dave Dickinson more time to deliver the football than that.
Either that or a body cast.
That might just be on order right now.
Well, look at the heat that the Lions have applied, but Dickinson's game, and he has a 10-0 lead, 2nd and 10, quick delivery, and it hops incomplete to Danielson. And you know, they're might be missing Kelvin Anderson here, Chris, because the one thing that Anderson really had an edge on Rock Preston was in blocking.
Well, they said they like Rock Preston. He's more elusive out in the open football field. If he has a drawback, a weakness, if you would, it's that he's not a very good blocker. As a result, they don't like to keep him in the backfield. They like to release him and hopefully take the guy that has to cover him out of rushing the passer. So far, it hasn't really worked.
Mark McLaughlin, the Grey Cup hero last year, an all-star once again this season from 39 yards out. And on the mark again. Greg Maughan's team has been on a roller coaster most of the year, which is strange to say for a 13-5 team, but they have been unpredictable, and in their last 9 games have averaged 17.5 points offensively. That's a low total for a Western Division leading team. Now they've got to get their offense going.
There's 2 things that I really want to bring to attention here, Chris. One is they said, we really haven't played 4 solid quarters of football at any one time, any one game. We've had quarters where we put points on the board. We've had a half where we've had a great game. We've never really put it together for one full game. They were hoping today would be the day. It still may happen, but even if it does today, again, they will not have had a complete game. The other thing is, and we talked to Dale Joseph yesterday, and he said one thing: which team will show up? We sometimes have 2 personalities. Sometimes our Team B shows up for a game. Well, they can't bring Team B to this game in the Western Final and expect to win.
No, the team they're playing looks very much like defending Grey Cup champions. Hamilton's already claimed a berth in the big game here next week. Will it be a rematch? Stampeders certainly have a big leg up in this first half. Cunningham on the kickoff return won't get back to the 35. They wanted to give Cunningham the option of springing one, but he was stopped by Jackie Kellogg.
Well, Jackie Kellogg, who's starting at half, does a great job of getting down the field, putting a helmet right in the legs and taking him out. Boy, you gotta like the way they're playing. And these guys, the big hoggies up front, the BC offensive linemen, they're sitting here, they're discussing this, there's some problems. They're talking about the twist. This is what they gotta do. They've got to straighten it out right now if they have any hopes of putting some drives together and some points eventually on the scoreboard.
Jamie Terrace, top offensive lineman in the West, is the center. Allen with that pump. Mark Nora can't bring it in. A couple of flags go down, and was Nora interfered with in front of the BC bench.
Well, who would have thought that Mark Nora would be your go-to guy today when you got the likes of downtown Eddie Brown and Alfred Jackson, but so far, the only guy that they seem to get open is Mark Nora.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver. Calgary number 4. First down.
Darryl Hall is called on the play. Hall was the top defensive player for the Stampeders in their last regular season meeting and Calgary's only win.
Well, it's exactly the same play they did to the other side of the football field, except this time they pumped and try to get Nora down the field.
First down, and Allen's on the run. Anderson trying to track him down. And he'll find a wide open receiver, Donnie Blair. His first catch of the afternoon. University of Calgary product who lives in Calgary in the offseason and says he can't stand all the talk about how great the Stampeders are.
And I think can't stand may be a polite word that we can use in this broadcast. I mean, he's very upset with this. He lives there, as you say. His wife lives there. I mean, he just cannot stand the fact that these guys are, as he considers them, braggarts. But hey, when you're the Grey Cup champion or the defending Grey Cup champions, you can be that way. But Damon Allen, I mean, you can say what you want about him, but he still has that athletic ability to avoid pressure and make something out of nothing. And boy, did he do that on that play, hitting Don Blair on a throw way across the football field to get a first down and keep the ball.
There's Steve Anderson, who nearly got the sack on Allen and now is having his right knee examined by Pat Clayton.
Steve Anderson had an interesting story. There was talk about the battle of Steve Anderson with Mo Elwanibi, the tackle of the BC Lions, who he says plays less than clean football. He claimed the first game that he played him, Chris, that he came out and karate chopped him in the throat. His throat swelled up, and he couldn't rush the passer because he couldn't get any air in his airwaves. So this is a battle that we're going to see going on all day, and hopefully Steve Anderson will be back to join us when we return from this. Well, Steve Anderson shaking up on the last play, and it occurred right here. There's a group here. Jamie Terrace is going to play bowling for dollars and cuts the legs out of number 92, Steve Anderson.
Alondra Johnson with the tackle on Robert Drummond. And the BC Lions have just made their deepest penetration into Calgary territory, the Stampeders' 48-yard line.
Well, I think it's really imperative that they put some points on the football scoreboard right now. They just cannot be satisfied with getting a first down and punting it and maybe pinning Calgary deep in their own zone. They've got to start putting some points on right now.
Drummond with a couple. What a game at Molson Stadium this afternoon. Hamilton's in. Here's Allen, and again, Mark Nora wide open. And Nora has been the BC offense, the product out of UBC in his second year, with another catch.
This is excellent job by Damon Allen. He sits back there. He gets good pass protection from the offensive line. Listen, we're going to pump you guys up when you do a good job. That's a good job of opening up the lane. What's happening, Nora is releasing Kevin Johnson, number 44. The linebacker is not getting over there in time to cover Mark Nora.
First down BC, 4:44 to go, first half. Allen the middle, incomplete. Donnie Blair unable to bring it in as Jack Kellogg made contact with Blair as the ball was delivered.
Nice timing by number 3, Jackie Kellogg, of putting the helmet right in the back of Donnie Blair just as the ball gets to him. I mean, this is good. Right there, put the helmet, the shoulder pads right into the back of Donnie Blair, making sure he does not come up with that catch.
2nd and 10 from the Stampeders 34. Lions trailing by 13. Allen pumps, delivers, Rod Harris open, Harris touchdown. Be the possession guy in this offense, Chris, but Rod Harris, the big play man here.
Well, nice job of allowing Damon to set up, look to the left, and come back to the right. As he does that, Rod Harris gets behind Shadrack Chris and the safety, Greg Frères. Ball is thrown right over the perfect shoulder, catches it, and dives and gets into the end zone.
So the complexion of this Western final changes on the touchdown by Harris.
Well, a touchdown to that man, Rod Harris. Gets behind Shadrack Chris and the safety, Greg Frères. An excellent job of finding an opening and allowing Damon Allen the opportunity to throw this football. Looks to the left, comes back to the right. Ball is thrown perfectly over the shoulder, and he dives into the end zone. And big, big points for these BC Lions. Maybe that, Chris, will give this offense the jump start they definitely needed.
Harris, an All-Canadian back in '93, used to be the favorite target of our old colleague David Archer. And Damon Allen, after a shaky start, settling in with a touchdown to Rod Harris. Well, let's see how the champions respond now that BC's on the board. Marvin Coleman from the Calgary 15. And Coleman swarmed at the 33. An 18-yard return. Dave Donaldson on the tackle.
Well, I tell you what, you know what, I like this. Watch this offensive line. It's all going to block. It's called slide protection. They're going to take a step to the right, allow Damon Allen to get behind the right tackle, but on a little bit of a movement. That allows him extra time to look to the left and come back to the right to find Rod Harris. That's a nice job of changing up the pass protection by the offensive line.
Well, what a development this is. Dave Dickinson is out. McCoy comes in. And here comes the rush. A flag down. Benefield unable to track down McCoy, who takes a knee, and Johnny Scott makes sure he's not going any further.
Well, Johnny Scott makes sure he's not going any further, but Dave Benefield again, with those quick twitch fibers, just anticipates the count, is offside.
Offside, BC number 56, repeat first down.
So Mike McCoy is in, started the year as the number 3 man. In fact, had to be brought in with injuries to both Dickinson and Henry Burris. Did a nice job for the Stampeders. In fact, his completion percentage, 0.1 better than Dickinson, 63.9% efficient during the year. And the big thing, Chris, they say about him, obviously he doesn't have the whole playbook, but he's a stronger thrower. 1st and 5, fake to Preston, and overthrowing Moore. Moore was open, but McCoy delivered high.
Well, that's just a case of him just coming in the game a little wired, not probably expecting to be put in or inserted in the situation. The adrenaline's going right now. As you say, Travis Moore crossing route wide open. He just is too strong with the throw and overthrows him.
George Cortez was telling me, the offensive coordinator for Calgary, that Mike McCoy was even more wired last week as his girlfriend delivered their first child. And once the new arrival came, he settled down. He's back to being able to focus on football. 2nd and 5, quick delivery, incomplete. And all the momentum of this game is changing in a hurry late in the 2nd quarter.
Well, that's what happens. The game is built on momentum. After the touchdown by the BC Lions and the defensive stand right here, it's starting to switch back to the BC Lions.
The word on Dave Dickinson, the Stampeder quarterback, talked to Pat Clayton, the athletic therapist of the Stampeders. He's injured his left shoulder. They're going to keep Dave out for the rest of this half and try him in the 2nd half. Until then, Mike McCoy, guys.
And we notice McCoy, the receiving corps, and George Cortez just had a quick meeting at the sidelines. Tony Martino's in, and the joint is jumping as the Lions starting to gain momentum. Martino just got it away. Raphael Robinson came close, and away goes the Jet to the 48-yard line. A 20-yard return for Jimmy Cunningham.
And you gotta like the way Jimmy the Jet Cunningham does things when he returns the football. I mean, he just sits there and waits for the ball or for the blockers to set up in front of him. It looks like you're waiting for him to take off. Do something, Jimmy. As he gets the ball, he just hesitates. He waits, finds his block, takes off, finds the opening. You just don't teach that. That's great peripheral vision.
Backs in motion, 6 receivers out now. Allen with the pump fake, and a completion, no, incomplete. And Donnie Blair is going to argue that call. Boy, I thought he caught it.
And well, you know what, Chris? You know what's interesting is as Donnie went down to catch the football, now his back is to the referee that says it was not a catch. I do not know how the referee in question can make that call when he really can't see where the ball is.
And now I think it's been overruled, and they are allowing the catch to stand.
Well, as we see it, as he slow it down there, you can see he gets his hands on it, cradles it from hitting the turf. Nice job of concentration by Donnie Blair.
So it's 2nd down and 4, a 6-yard pickup. Allen throwing, picked off. Jack Kellogg has the interception. He hit a wet patch in the field and went down heavily. Looked like he may have fumbled, but the ball had been ruled dead, and Calgary has another big turnover.
Well, you know what? We just talked about Mr. Momentum, and he's just took another swing and jumped back on the Calgary side right now. This throw by Damon Allen surprised me because he threw it off his back foot. It was not a good set by Damon Allen. He just kind of throws as he's going backwards. As a result, the ball is not where it should be. He's aiming for Donnie Blair. Jackie Kellogg, closest to the football, comes up with the interception.
You know, they stripped some paint off the field. You can see the markings there, and they were really concerned. Pass incomplete about the slippery turf where Kellogg went down.
Well, he went down, but I mean, it all starts with your key guy, the quarterback, Damon Allen, and I'll go right back and reiterate, he doesn't look comfortable throwing the football right now. Nice throw to Ron Harris for the touchdown, but now he comes back, and this time, I mean, he throws off his back foot. You can see Danny Barrett, the quarterback coach, talking to him, saying, hey, come on, baby, you're a winner. You know you can get this job done.
2nd and 10. McCoy, wide open, Alan Pitts. Touchdown, Calgary. McCoy to the greatest receiver in CFL history.
And I don't think you could put it any other way. The guy just finds a way of getting open and making big plays in big games. And Mike McCoy, here's a guy, great arm, reads the defense, sees Alan Pitts come wide open over the middle and delivers the football perfectly. And as you say, a big pass, big catch, but a bigger play that takes anything that BC had and puts it back in the Calgary's back pocket.
The outstanding nominee in the West. And there's McCoy. Well, he's been doing it all year coming off the bench. And now Mark McLaughlin to add the extra point. And suddenly it's quiet again at BC Place.
Well, that's the way to take the crowd out of the game. And you're right, Mike McCoy. We watched him play against the Toronto Argonauts when it was all for certain that Toronto was going to win the game, and Mike McCoy hung in there, took a beating, and delivered the ball to Marcus Dowdell, and they eventually won that football game. And, you know, you just got to like the character of that guy.
You know, Chris, George Cortez told me earlier this week, we're going to kind of invite BC to blitz because we like the way our quarterbacks can read the blitz and capitalize on it. Here's the interception that led to the touchdown just when you thought things were going the Lions' way.
Talked about the key play. That is the key play, even though that Calgary scored the touchdown. The key play in my mind is the fact that Damon Allen threw a poor pass, was picked off by Jackie Kellogg, allowed Mike McCoy to come in, and as you said, one of the things that Dave Dickinson said to me and said to us yesterday, Chris, was the key is if we can pick up their four-man rush, BC's four-man rush, and see where the linebackers are coming from, we will have success. On that play, they did a great job of finding that. He had the time to find Alan Pitts, and the rest, as they say, is history.
So it's regrouping time on the BC sidelines. Cunningham once again. And Kevin Johnson lowers the boom at the 25. Minute 46 remaining, first half. And Calgary has restored the 13-point lead.
They got real close. I know, we talked.
Well, the good thing, if there ever is a good thing about coming back on the field, is the fact that you don't have to wait to get your hands on the football again. You got it right back now. Let's go.
All-time playoff catches up to date. Darren Flutie had a big afternoon in Montreal. Pitts has had an enormous first half.
Calvary, keep on cheering us on. We need support. Hey, Reed,
43 yards away from leading all-time in playoff yardage. Cunningham, the hit screen, wrapped up at the 30, and it's a gain of 5 for Cunningham.
Well, that's just a nice job. I mean, Eric Sutton fights off the block. They're trying to spring Jimmy the Jet Cunningham between two receivers. Eric Sutton will have none of that. Fights off the blocking back and limits the game. Nice job by 27 of the Calgary Stampeders, Eric Sutton.
You know, in the first game of the day, Hamilton scored late in the first half, a field goal to get close, and you almost get the feeling BC needs the same kind of production. Eddie Brown in a battle for the ball, beaten to it by Marvin Coleman.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, and I know you shouldn't say that because we have to be objective up here, sometimes subjective, but Eddie Brown has got to fight harder for this football. I know he may not send me Christmas cards for it, but I tell you, as he's going for the football. Marvin Coleman is a lot hungrier for this football than Eddie Brown. Nice protection. He got the great throwing lane, throws the football. Now fight for that football, Eddie. Come back to the ball, make the catch. I'm not saying it's a catchable or that you're not giving it all, but come on, big man. You earned the moniker Downtown Eddie Brown. Time to start earning it.
Here's Coleman at the 39-yard line. Let's join Scott Russell.
Thanks very much, Chris. Lots to talk about in the Canadian Airlines halftime show. Mike Clemens is here with pinpoints, of course. We'll review a Wild East final. Ticats win 27-26 in Montreal. They're going to the Cup. And, of course, Chris will have analysis from high above. Guys?
Speaking of high above, what a great perch here at BC Place Stadium for this Western final, and we'll be here a week from today.
I just love a great cup. Nice height differential right there. You can see who the big man is. The Gemini Award winner.
Never got a sniff till I started working with you. First down, Stamps. A flag goes down. Pass underneath, nearly picked. Intended for Vince Danielson, who didn't look like he was expecting the pass, and Raphael Robinson nearly brought it in.
Oh, I think he called it correctly there, Chris. And obviously, it almost looked like Danielson slowed down because of the penalty that will go against the Calgary Stampeders for offside. But the ball thrown where...
Offside. Calgary number 18. Decline. Second down.
Alan Pitts over anxious that time. Stamps were the most penalized team in the league this year, which is a surprise. That's uncharacteristic of this team, but they've managed to minimize the damage so far in this first half. And you know BC trying to get the football back in their offense's hands with a minute 15 to go in the half. 2nd and 10 for McCoy and the Stampeders. The give to Preston, and Rock Preston bursts into the secondary and into Lions territory. That's a huge gain for the Rock.
Well, you got to get this guy in. I know that Calvin Anderson, Mr. Everything for the Calgary Stampeders, is not playing in this football game, but why dress a guy if you're not going to use him? Just put a piece of cardboard back there then. Rock Preston, up to this point, 3 carries for 5 yards. You got to use the guy. He's a weapon. Loves the open field. We talk about his elusiveness in the open field. That's what he does, and this is what he did last game. He played these guys in the victory, 14-1. He had 80 yards on 15 carries.
22 yards on the ground, and now with the catch. And at the BC 41, they're nudging into Mark McLaughlin field goal range, and still 50 seconds on the clock, and more points, particularly a major, could really be devastating here in BC.
Well, most definitely. And one of the things that I watch, and a lot of times the viewers can't see the whole picture back at home, but they got receivers going downfield throwing blocks. Alan Pitts at that time chopping the feet out from Paul Lacoste, who has nothing but nasty words to say to him, but that's how you win football games.
2nd and 3. McCoy pulls it down and slides awkwardly for a first down. Dave Chater's the tackle. And they will move the sticks. 43 seconds to go. Calgary still in possession of their timeout.
Nice job of Mike McCoy knowing where the yardsticks are, getting the first down. Granted, he is an ugly runner and not very graceful at this quarterback slide, but does a great job of knowing and having a presence at a football field to get the first down.
Well, you got to hand it to this organization. They keep finding quarterbacks. McCoy in relief of Dickinson, but in trouble and down back at the 45. It's been the brightest spot of the Lions today. Their pressure on the quarterback.
Well, the defense has played outstanding for the most part. I mean, they keep coming, they keep coming. They've sacked Dave Dickinson. They've now sacked Mike McCoy. They've maybe taken him out of field goal range, but remember, we're in ideal conditions here, and Mark McLaughlin does have a strong leg.
Cantor, Armstrong, Smith all in on the sack. And we're approaching halftime, and 5 sacks already. And remember, Calgary worst in the league at surrendering 59 during the regular season.
Well, they are, but I mean, they have the 20-7 lead right now, so they're doing enough of the other things right to control the tempo of this football game right now.
Mike McCoy brought in after Henry Burris was knocked out for the rest of the year with a knee injury against the BC Lions. You think they've gone to the Grey Cup with Danny Barrett. They've won the Grey Cup in the 90s with both Doug Flutie and Jeff Garcia. Trying to get back there again with Dave Dickinson and Mike McCoy in tandem. Second down, pass over the middle to Moore. And he will be well short of the first down, getting close to the original line of scrimmage, but getting back into field goal range.
Well, that's exactly what they did. They said if we can get the ball to Travis Moore or any of the receivers right now, put in their hands, if they can turn it into a big play, great. If they can, at least we'll get back to the original or near to the line of scrimmage and allow Mark McLaughlin a better chance of success at kicking a field goal.
The ball spotted just outside the 37, so a 44-yard attempt for Mark McLaughlin. Over 81% efficient on the year. That was close to 20% higher than Louis Bisaglia, although in fairness to Louis, he has kicked for most of the year with an injury. McLaughlin looking for his third three-pointer of the day, and he's good again. Just enough. On the final play of the opening half here in Vancouver. And the defending Grey Cup champions look poised to come back and set up a rematch. Let's go down to Scott Russell.
Yeah, here's Wally Buono, the Stampeders. You put the points on the board, but are you satisfied with the way your defense is contained, Damon?
Well, we're really happy with the whole team. This is a tough game against a very good opponent, and to be up right now 23-7 at halftime, you got to be proud of your team.
McCoy in relief of Dickinson. Any concern about your #1 quarterback?
Well, Dave's shoulder's a little bit sore, and we have a lot of confidence in Mike, and we just wanted to pull him for a couple series and let everything settle down.
Thanks, Wally. Good luck. Wally Buono of the Calgary Stampeders, who lead 23-7 at the end of the first half in this West Final. The CFL on CBC will continue in a moment. Columbia at the half. It's 23-7 for the Calgary Stampeders over the British Columbia Lions. Well, 11 years, a Toronto Argonaut, CFL's most valuable player in 1990, and now our most valuable commentator on the sidelines, Pinball Clemens. What do you think of this one? I mean, it looks like Calgary's really got him contained.
Well, you know what? This sure is exciting. This is a great day for football. I'm excited just being on the sideline. Calgary has had him contained in the first half, but it's setting itself up for a beautiful finish. Now here, if you look at the screen, this play, Damon Allen scrambles and he gets the ball off to Blair. We said that something had to happen for them, and Damon Allen moves around and he makes plays. But this play didn't happen after special teams or a defensive play as we suggested, but it happened after a defensive penalty. They got a pass interference that spurred them on.
Lions have to get something happening. What do you believe it is that they can do?
You know what? I think what they have to do is settle down and get Robert Drummond the ball. That was their theme coming into the game, is that they wanted to let Robert Drummond run the ball, get him some touches. They haven't done that in the first half.
Calgary's had to scramble. They've had to switch quarterbacks. It's Mike McCoy in right now for Dave Dickinson. And you know what? Even though they got 23 points on the board, they're getting all kinds of pressure.
They are getting all kinds of pressure. And if we look at the screen, you see here Dickinson moves around here and he gets a sack on him, and now he's out of the game, getting a lot of pressure. Oddly enough, they've had 10 drives in the first half. Great interception by Kellogg here. But they've had 10 drives in the first half. 5 of the drives they've gotten sacked, and they've only scored one time in those drives. The other 5 times they haven't gotten sacked, and they've scored 4 of those times for a total of 20 points. If they don't get sacked, they score. It's that simple.
Last guy carrying the football there was Alan Pitts. What a great receiver he is. Can you make some kind of a comment on a guy that can be that productive overtime?
You know what? I call him Alan Bottomless Pitts, because he just never seems to stop the depth of his talent. And here you see on the play, he always finds a way of getting open, and that's a byproduct of what they're doing. So they're sacrificing giving up the sacks by spreading out. But what that did was create a mismatch because of the fusion, but because of the number of guys they get out. Alan Pitts comes wide open. He can hurt you in so many ways, because not only does he do that, he blocks real hard, and that's some of the intangibles that you don't see in Alan Bottomless Pitts.
One sentence about the second half. What do you look for?
What I look for is Robert Drummond to run the football and for Calgary to take care of the football. They're going to try to establish the run. Big hole to fill with Calvin Anderson out, but Rayham and the Big Chill, they want to create holes for young Rock Preston.
Encapsulated all. Pinpoints on the part of Mike Pinball Clemens. Here's the story. It's 23-7 for the Calgary Stampeders over the Lions as the half continues here, the CFL on CBC. We're right in the middle of it at BC Place. 23-7 for the Calgary Stampeders over the British Columbia Lions at the halftime of the West Final. Well, earlier in the day, the East Final at Montreal. The Tiger Cats are going back to the Grey Cup. A 27-26 win with the story of a great game. Here's Mark Lee.
Here at Molson Stadium, the game has long since been over, but close to the Alouettes locker room, many of the Montreal fans remain still in disbelief. For the fourth year in a row, the Alouettes have been defeated in the Eastern Final, and for the second year in a row, the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to the Grey Cup. And once again, it was their veteran quarterback, Danny McManus, who did the miraculous late in the football game. This was the scene in the fourth quarter. A third and less than a yard play. McManus passing to linebacker Joe Higgins for the first down. And then it was Ronald Williams rumbling for his third touchdown of the game to put the Hamilton Tiger Cats in front to stay, but just by 1 point. The final here in Montreal, Hamilton 27, Montreal 26. The Cats are going to the Grey Cup.
Oh, what a great story, and it might be a great story in 6 days' time. Grey Cup Saturday, the 1994 Grey Cup. A look back at that beauty between the BC Lions and the Baltimore Stallions. And then on Grey Cup Sunday, Brian Williams hosts a preview of the game that is to come from BC Place. And, of course, the 87th Classic kicks off at 6 Eastern, coast to coast. Right now, let's send you upstairs to Chris and Chris with their analysis.
Well, Scott, as I watch the highlights from the Eastern Final and reflect on what we just saw in the first half, I really think there's something to be said for experience. All the talent maybe with BC, at least they say they are so talented, and yet Calgary's been to the championship so often, and they look so poised in that first half.
They really do, and you know what? You look at experience, and if I'm looking at a chart, I'm looking at Damon Allen, I'm thinking he's got all the experience. He's been to the final, to the Grey Cup 3 times, but as you say, Calgary, they look so composed. BC looks all wired, out of scattered. They don't look like they're focused right now, and obviously that's reflected in the highlights. Dave Dickinson hooks up with Danielson early in the game to score a touchdown. I mean, he took a beating. This is a guy that took smacks from Chaders, from Herman Smith. It was just all over, but hung in there, and of course then Mike McCoy comes back, hits Alan Pitts just when the momentum, Chris, was starting to swing back BC's way.
How about Jack Kellogg coming in? Dickinson, the usual holder. Kellogg comes in, and it's the little things Calgary does well. Here's a guy, the backup holder, and he saved 3 points.
You know what? You hit it on the head. They're doing all the little intangibles right, and that's what makes a great team a champion. And the way they're playing right now, BC's going to have to pull something out of the hat to get them back in this football game, or it's going to be a repeat of last year's Grey Cup.
Yeah, you can think of other little things like Aubrey Cummings working for that first down that set up a touchdown instead of a field goal. So Calgary dominating, but just a word, the last time these two teams played here, Calgary had a 20-7 lead. The Lions came back and won by a point. So it's not done yet as we rejoin Scott.
Right, Chris. Well, Calgary's kicked into high gear. The Lions are still to roar today. 23-7 Stamps. We're back in a moment. Back at BC Place, 23-7 Stampeders. Here's Greg Mons. What do you have to do now?
Well, we got to get our offense moving to score some points and not make mistakes in coverage on the one big play. That hurt, but our up front people have done a great job. We've had great pressure on the quarterback, but we've got to get our offense moving to score some points if we're going to have a chance.
Thanks, Greg. Good luck. Greg Mons of the BC Lions. Chris and Chris.
Scott, the Lions a little late coming out, and so was the head coach, and you wondered if he healed a little paint in the dressing room.
Well, I bet you he did. I mean, we talked to him yesterday, and one of the things he feels he brings to the football club is motivation and leadership. He's not one to mince words, and I'm sure, as you say, paint was peeling in that locker room, especially directed toward the offense. I think he hit it right on the head. This offense, with all the talent it has got to start producing some points. I cannot believe that Robert Drummond only carried the ball 4 times in the first half when he had 159 yards rushing in one of their victories against the Calgary Stampeders. It comes right down to the little things, Chris. If you're not going to use all your arsenal, you might as well not bring them to the football game.
But Greg Mons has seen this storyline before. He told us yesterday that his defense has been extremely consistent, championship caliber, but our offense has been sporadic, and that sums up the first half.
Oh, most definitely. We can only hope, if you're a BC Lion fan, that they pick it up in the final 30.
Lions get their hands on the football first in the second half. And Cunningham, with that great speed, just tripped up. Aldi Henry negating what could have been a huge return. There is a flag on the field as well.
Well, a flag was thrown, Chris, but it was thrown late after the play, so we're going to see if it's...
Holding BC number 50. First down.
Antonio Armstrong called, and they'll march it back.
Well, as we look at the first half stats, the big one right here is right here. 2 turnovers that resulted in 14 points for the Calgary Stampeders. The interception by Jackie Kellogg and the interception by Alondra Johnson. Those were 2 big key plays, and obviously the time of possession really favoring the Calgary Stampeders.
Allen to Mark Nora, the fullback, runs into a wall. Alondra Johnson, first to make contact with the UBC grad. AJ back in there after 5 weeks out. And Calgary got through it without their middle linebacker, but he brings a different level of intensity to this Calgary defense.
You know, we talking to him and interviewing him yesterday, just the emotion in his eyes. It was almost like he was tearing up. He wears his heart on his sleeve where everybody can see it.
2nd and 7. Allen looking deep, looking for Eddie Brown. And Marvin Coleman step for step. You know, we talked about the play earlier, Coleman and Brown. And Wally Bono told us the great thing about a cornerback is one who can make plays and wear brass knuckles. And Coleman was wearing brass knuckles in the first half against Brown.
Well, he shut him down a couple times, and I made the statement. I thought that Marvin Coleman was hungrier for the football at times than Eddie Brown, but I'm really a little bit surprised, and I know it's easy to sit up in the booth and point, and I'm not doing that, but I wonder why you're not using Alfred Jackson or why you're not incorporating Jimmy the Jet Cunningham in your offense. These are things I think would help you.
Coleman with the return to the 45. And it looks like it's going to be Mike McCoy to bring the offense out for the second half.
And Chris, it's really imperative, and I know it's early in the second half, but you have got to make a good defensive stand here and try and get your offense the ball as many times as possible in this final 30 minutes, hopefully allowing them to unchain their chains of unproduction and score some points, because it's really been ugly on the offensive side of the football, aside from the one big play to Rod Harris.
You know, even if Dickinson is available to come back in, I don't think it's a bad call at this point with a 16-point advantage to go with McCoy. And Rock Preston with a 7-yard carry to the 52.
Well, one of the things that's going to happen if you're Calgary Stampeders right now enjoying a 23-7 lead is you can start using the clock now, and that means you can start using the running game. You got big Dwayne Ford, the lead blocker, and you got the Rock Preston, just doing a little sweep action, gets around to the outside, picks up 7 yards on a first down play, making it 2nd and short.
2nd and 3. See the lineman. What are they doing there, holding hands?
Well, you know what? A lot of people won't understand what the linemen are doing, but what they're doing is allowing for proper spacing between them. They're trying to spread the defense of the BC Lions out. So what they say is stretch your arm out, hold a hand with the guy next to you. You can see it right there, and that allows you, when you're doing slide protection or running the ball, to have an opening, some space that's automatically created on the defensive side of the ball. Good movement and a good offensive line technique.
However, they were stopped short, and Martino has to punt it away. End over end. And Cunningham letting it bounce down there. Greg Prayer's trapped inside the 5, so he'll take the penalty and just get Cunningham down. So no yards after the 43-yard punt. Damon Allen's got to make things happen for BC. There's guard Jay McNeil. He's talking about the offensive lineman holding hands. I didn't realize you guys were such a sensitive lot on the line.
We are definitely a sensitive group. The only time we say you have to stop holding hands when the game is over. That's where we draw the line. If you go in the locker room and you're still holding hands, you're taking the game just too far.
I'm not going to tell Thomas Graham he shouldn't be holding somebody's hand. Now the Lions have to get things untracked offensively. You heard from Greg Mize, and there's Eddie Brown, but brass-knuckled Marvin Coleman there to make the tackle, the first catch for Brown on the day.
Well, that's great, but that's the biggest thing you got to do. Put the ball in Eddie Brown's hands. Let him do something. They're going to try and go with a hurry-up offense, not allowing Calgary the opportunity to get their defensive calls in. I think this is a smart play. Change it up right now. Don't stay with what you've been doing because it hasn't been working.
Damon Allen just 7 for 20 so far, second and a couple, and now Allen breaks out. Oh, he is so smooth. And a flag comes down late. 36 years of age, and he still runs like he did when he was in Edmonton Eskimo.
He runs like a gazelle. It's a great play. It's pre-called. They know they're going to do this. The flag came down late, and I think they're going to call Eddie Brown for holding.
Illegal block. BC number 4. After yards were gained. First down.
Well, Chris, we talked about the little things and how important they all add up to be. It's one thing to go downfield and do something, but you can't. You can see him right here. He's going to be in the bottom right here as we run it through. He's got a hand on Coleman and then just pushes him from behind. You're not going to help. Let him go.
It is a first down back at the 29, however. Back to Brown. You know, Dave Archer always said you got to get Eddie Brown into the game early or you might lose him.
Well, I agree, and I think not only Eddie Brown, but they haven't thrown a football to Alfred Jackson. You got to use, these are your two wideouts. If you're not throwing the football out wide, everybody can cheat to the middle and try and take away your slot back or concentrate on your running backs. You got to stretch this defense, not only vertically, but horizontally.
First down at the 40. They go to the wide side. Robert Drummond can't hold on.
Well, they need to start getting some rhythm right now. And boy, they're just fighting it right now. They're all trying to do the right plays, but they're just not coming down with the key catches and keeping the drives alive and putting them in second and long situations where Calgary's really had opportunities to bring the rush, knock balls down, and come up with a couple key interceptions.
Joe Paopao has been battling the flu this week, and the performance of the offense not making him feel any better here so far this afternoon. Second and 10. Allen, he'll take off. And Allen lunging for the first down up at the 52 of BC.
And this might be something that wakes up the rest of the team. You see your quarterback, not the biggest guy, probably though you're most gifted, running with the football, not doing the hook slide, going head first, trying to pick up a first down, trying to get something positive happening. Now the rest of the team's got to say, hey, he's doing it. Let's do it ourselves. Let's pick it up a level. We want to be in this football game. We've got to do it now.
And now going into the hurry-up, Calgary caught on a late change. A flag goes down as Allen gets back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard, but Calgary, I think, got caught there on the hurry-up of the Lions and will be penalized.
Well, it's a good play. This is exactly what you want to do. Because of the fact that Calgary can't get their call in, they're trying to bring a blitz. They get caught with too many men. They got Jackie Kellogg coming. They got Kevin Johnson coming. It's a free play now. They move
illegal
the ball.
Substitution. Calgary. First down.
And they were fortunate they didn't tack on the face mask, as Shad Chris looked like he grabbed a piece of Allen's mask.
And this is something that Joe Paopao, he's been around. He's a wily veteran, the offensive coordinator of the BC Lions. He knows that if we can't make the offense go one way, we'll go with the hurry up and see if that works.
Give to Nora, the fullback off the right side, dragged down by Alondra Johnson. And he gets up chirping at the former BC Lion.
Well, Mark Nora is making a name for himself here. I mean, he's played the first 9 games of the season in the same combination with Robert Drummond. They were 7-2 at that time. He likes to carry the football. Little surprise when you got number 29, who can break it at any time, being your lead blocker. You wonder if that role should not be reversed.
Second and 5, BC. Steve Anderson back in the game for Calgary. And Allen down to the 37. It's going to be close to the first down. Well, so much of this game is about adjustments.
Well, most definitely is, Chris. I mean, you're just gonna take the football. He doesn't see anything. He's got that ball tucked already. You know, you're not looking even to throw the football when you got it like that and he's cradling it. He knows that he's got to do whatever he can to keep this drive going, try and get the first down. Comes up a little short. I'm sure we're going to see at this point in the game with a 23-7 lead for Calgary, they're most definitely going to go for it.
They're going to huddle up here. The fans urging them on third and about a foot. And actually the Lions this time were trying to keep the fans silent so they could hear the cadence, and Allen pushes it forward behind that big all-Canadian offensive line.
Well, they got a big offensive line. You're right, Chris. I mean, you're averaging 320 pounds. That's some big beef right there. I mean, these guys can't walk around unless they're wearing bright jackets because it's hunting season. But I tell you right now, you got to get these guys in the football game right now. Yeah, they're running the draw with Damon Allen, but I still believe, even at this point in the game, get Robert Drummond involved in your offense.
There's Drummond on first down, and Darryl Hall there to meet him. Things heating up down there. Jamie Terrace took a shove at somebody.
Well, you know, Elwyn Eby's helmet is off right there. You know, he's not exchanging pleasantries. You know, he's not happy right now, and this is how you get your offensive linemen fired up. When they get the tee off, rather than just receiving the blows when they do pass sets.
2nd and 6 for BC now. Allen rolling right and has a completion at the 20. There's Alfred Jackson.
Well, and then you can see the emotion in Alfred Jackson. He catches the football, spikes it, says it's about time you start looking at number 7. He didn't get the moniker Action Jackson for nothing.
Only played 2 games against Calgary with limited success, 5 catches, but this guy was all-Canadian in '97.
Well, you know, he played with us when Matt Dunnigan threw for 700 yards, and he had a 300-yard receiving game, so he can get it done.
Back to Drummond, and he's upended at the 15-yard line. 5 there, William Hampton, the sure tackle.
But a nice job of mixing it up now. Now they're using people. You've got Jimmy the Jet in the backfield. You've got Robert Drummond slipping out. You got Alfred Jackson catching a previous pass. This is what you want to do, is you see Joe Powell signaling in the play.
Look at this. This will be the 13th play of the drive. We're halfway through the third quarter. 16-point deficit. The Lions trying to cut into that here. 2nd and 6. Allen under pressure, and Steve Anderson gets to the quarterback. That's his 2nd sack of the game.
Well, Steve Anderson has had a battle with Elwyn Eby all day. This time, he is the victor. He's going to come from the bottom of your screen. Robert Drummond, 29, looking backside. He just beats Elwyn Eby and hog ties Damon Allen by the helmet to the turf for a sack, nullifying the scoring or potential scoring drive and bringing Lou Pisaglia, that 24-year veteran, onto the football field.
So Louis will try one from 31 yards out. And he splits the uprights. So it's now a 13-point lead for the Calgary Stampeders. Good drive for Greg Vaughn's team. Welcome back to BC Place Stadium. Impressive drive, resulting in 3 for the Lions. Rookie Paul Lacoste has the war paint on today. David Benefield, that's a trademark of him, and it's a kickoff for the Lions, and both Louis Pisaglia and Brett Anderson are out there, so you wonder, Chris, if something might be on.
Well, I tell you, Louis not on that field for his tackling ability.
But Anderson does kick it away. Coleman once again. Blockers, and up over the 40-yard line before Armstrong brings him down. 26-yard kickoff return.
I'm not sure about that play. I thought maybe they're going to try a little trickery. with Brett Anderson maybe attacking the football in the last second, maybe Louis trying some kind of a high kick that maybe they can corral and keep possession of the ball for their offense. But you almost wonder about that play when they kick it deep, and then they have to rely on Louis Pasaglia to go down there, and you can see him, he might have to make a play, and he doesn't like doing that. No kicker likes to get his helmet dirty. They've got the cleanest helmets. Never have to be repainted after the season.
Mike McCoy remains at the controls. Out of the gun, quick release, Danielson, and he is tripped up at the 48-yard line. Raphael Robinson, the man they called the wrecker in the BC defense, with the tackle. Greg Mons told me yesterday, he said it was mind-boggling that Robinson was not named to the Western All-Star team.
Well, he had 88 tackles. I mean, had 11 tackles last time they played these Calgary Stampeders, and the noise meter is starting to kick in here. Fans are trying to get into it, trying to take Calgary out of it.
Trying to make it hard for the Stamps to hear the signals. Again, the gun, 2nd and 4. Complete Moore at midfield. It's a first down for the Stampeders.
Well, that's the fastest way you take the crowd right out of it, is have success moving the football. And Mike McCoy standing in there like the poised veteran, just sitting back here and throwing a nice completion.
And with the crowd noise, maybe another reason why they're holding hands on that offensive line.
Well, they hold hands, and you can see it right here. What they're doing is they can't hear the snap count. So when he lets him go, the offensive tackle, in this case, Rayam, knows it's okay to go into his pass set. It's a great way not to have to look at the football and not have to hear the snap count.
First down, play action, and McCoy's going to air it out. Looking downfield and overthrowing Travis Moore by 5 yards.
Well, if you wonder about Mike McCoy's arm strength, have no fears, because he just sat back there and looked effortlessly throwing that ball, and he overthrew Travis Moore by 10 yards and didn't even look like he put any effort into throwing that football.
You know, the Stamps describe him as a taller, less experienced Dave Dickinson. Very similar in the approach to the game. McCoy said he regretted not being here a couple of years earlier. The Canadian game seems to suit him. His football career looked like it was all but over until a call in August. 2nd and 10, McCoy to Pitts. And when you've got Alan Pitts, it's a wise idea to throw it in his direction.
Well, it's a wise idea. Again, great protection by the offensive lineman. They're really playing well right now. Thomas Rayam working on Benefield, just pushes him out of the throwing lane. A nice job of Alan Pitts curling right in front of Dale Joseph. We talked this would be a battle. It is a great battle between these two guys, these two veterans. Alan Pitts coming up with the play on that particular one.
So the Stamps now marching, 4.5 minutes remaining, third quarter. Trying to restore the lead to over 2 touchdowns. Brock Preston drops the football. BC's got it. That's Scott Thomas. Foot race, and Preston will drag him down. But the Lions have the ball. A big Calgary turnover. And the Lions have a chance to close the gap. BC Lions and their fans just get a big shot of adrenaline with this fumble by Rock Preston.
Well, Herman Smith, and we've mentioned his name time and time again, number 91 making the sack, but that time coming over and doing something different, stripping the football. Scott Thomas takes it back to the 40-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders.
13-point Calgary lead. Allen pumps once, now Rod Harris, and Jack Kellogg smothers him at the 35. Short gain. Maybe 4.
That is an exceptional job by Jackie Kellogg when it is a fake running play action, naked bootleg. That's a long sentence right there, folks, to get out to the flat right here and stay with the coverage, limiting the gain by Rod Harris. Just a nice job of staying with your man and not being fooled by the bootleg.
Illustration of why he's a 2-time Western All-Star. 2nd and 6. Allen steps up, and David Allen is his first down, ran through the one-arm attempt of Alondra Johnson, and the Lions are threatening.
Well, the Lions are threatening, and Damon Allen is putting on a one-man rushing If it's not there, he's just tucking the ball and going right now. Sets back there. The offensive line does a great job of opening up a lane. He doesn't even hesitate. He says, this is instinct. After 15 years in the league, if I can't see nothing, I'm tucking it. And he knows he's got to do it today, and he does a great job there.
He's been the most dangerous man on the ground. Ball at the 18, first down BC. Looked right, and it's a quarterback draw. Did not fool the Stamps. Didn't fool Steve Anderson. And look out. Mark Gunn, like he'd been shaken up, but does pop back to his feet.
Well, nice job of Mark Gunn and the defensive tackles of the Calgary Stampeders are staying home. What the offensive linemen are trying to do is you see Mo Elwanibi trying to get the guy to take the outside rush. What you want to do is create an opening, a lane, if you would, for Damon Allen to run through. On that play, the Calgary Stampeders played at home, played smart, and smothered the quarterback draw.
2nd and 10, Drummond the lone setback, 5 receivers. And now Drummond going out, Allen into the end zone, touchdown, Don Blair.
Well, they talk about key plays. They talk about what turns the tide of a football game. Turnovers. We saw Herman Smith cause a fumble by Rock Preston, picked up by Scott Thomas. Damon Allen does the rest on his own of rushing, taking the ball down, and now finds Donnie Blair for a touchdown.
Five touchdowns during the year and a big playoff score for Don Blair. I don't know if anybody pump fakes better than Damon Allen.
Well, you know, it's not even a pump fake. He looks like he takes a step toward the line as if he's going to take off with the football. As a result, the defensive line of the Calgary Stampeders stop anticipating for him trying to come through, allows him to have time to bring the ball back up, throw the football, and as you say, this man right there, number 20, Don Blair, comes and takes the ball away from the defender and scores a nice touchdown, and that's 10 points for the BC Lions in this quarter.
10-0 Lions, second half, and it's a 6-point lead, a 6-point precarious lead for the Stamps. Here's Marvin Coleman on the run. Flag goes down behind Coleman, who got it up to the 50. But the flag thrown around the 37-yard line, and it will bring back a 29-yard return.
Well, Bo Lewis, number 17 of the BC Lions.
Holding. Calgary, number 82. First down.
Andre Arlane called for the hold. Damon Allen 6 for 8 in the second half, 59 yards and a touchdown.
Well, 6 for 8, but what he's doing, he's taking off with the football. He's doing everything himself right now. Does a nice job of getting that pump fakes. You see that, steps up in the pocket and throws the ball. And what I like is Donnie Blair comes back to the football and takes the football. That's a guy right there that wants to score.
Here's McCoy, Preston out of the backfield. He's a tough guy to bring down, and he lunges to the 35 and has 7. David Benefield with the tackle.
Well, Chris, with those 10 points, you see that the BC offense is starting to move the football. The last time they had a 14-play drive. This time they capitalized on the turnover. Now the defense is saying, you know what, guys? We got some confidence. Now we know if the offense gets the football back, we can put some points on the board. But now the pressure is starting to switch over to the Calgary offense.
Preston dropped the ball on his last carry, but Calgary goes right back to him on their first play of the next possession. And McCoy in trouble. Down he goes.
Well, that's just a meeting at the quarterback. I tell you what, the defensive line said, you know what, guys, we're going to watch game film. You know what, we're going to watch game film on number 19's jersey. Let's all meet there. Everybody's there. They just come back. They swarm him. They smother him. And they take him down. I mean, he's trying to set initially not bad time. But, boy, the black shirts are all over him right there. Johnny Scott, Benefield, the whole swarm.
6th sack of the day for the BC Lions. When it looked like it was going to get out of hand early, the Lions defense did the job.
You know what, Chris, and that's why Canadian football, or football in general, is 4 quarters. You got to win all the quarters to win the football game.
Please reset the game clock to 43 seconds.
3 seconds added on to the clock. We're in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. Wally Buono's advantage has been squandered here for the most part. Hamilton's there in the Grey Cup. And we're still a long way from deciding their opponent. Tony Martino, here they come, but Martino gets it away. No yards will be called. Cunningham gets outside. Flag is down, but that, I believe, is the no yards call. And Jimmy Cunningham has it down to the Calgary 39.
You know, Chris, we talked about the fact that yesterday they were scrubbing the signs off the football field. As a result, before the game, they're trying to dry those spots.
No yards. Calgary number 27 declined. First down.
25-yard punt return by Jimmy Cunningham, and Damon Allen suddenly established some momentum, and he's going to try and continue it here.
Well, the big thing is they're getting the football back on a regular basis. They're stopping the Calgary offense. They're having more opportunities, and they're starting to take advantage of these opportunities.
Somehow Alondra Johnson and company have to find a way to stem the tide. First down, Allen looking deep, looking for Alfred Jackson, and he's got it at the 5. Action Jackson beating Marvin Coleman.
Well, I tell you what, I know for a fact, Chris, that they're listening to this broadcast. We talked about it the whole game. You gotta use your weapons. You gotta use Alfred Jackson. Second time they've gone to him, and bang! A great play, putting him deep in the Calgary part of the football field.
Well, we start the 4th quarter. Calgary leading by 6, but the lead is on thin ice.
Well, just the last play of the 3rd quarter. They talk about Alfred Jackson, what he brings to this offense. He just gets behind the defender, Marvin Coleman, in that instance. The ball is perfectly thrown. Damon Allen took a shot as he delivered the football, and bam! Right away, they're in scoring position and deep in Calgary.
Jumbo alignment in for BC. Out of the shotgun, Allen, and he's stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Darryl Hall led the surge. A lot of beef up there for BC, but Calgary won that battle in the trench.
This is a predetermined play. What they're going to do is they're going to pull Dan Payne, the left guard, all 6'7" on 350 pounds, have him lead him around the corner, hopefully get a kickout block, and Damon Allen ideally waltzes into the end zone, but the Calgary defense would have none of that. Stuff Payne and stuff Damon Allen in the process.
Calgary number 4 against the run this year, but the best in the West in that category. Behind Toronto, Hamilton, and Montreal, and now it's 2nd and goal from the 6. And you know, the Lions have been trying to rev this crowd up, but as they broke the huddle on the last play, they were trying to quiet the crowd to make sure they can hear Allen's cadence. This time, 4 receivers right side, empty backfield, but Allen in, touchdown!
that means, Chris, that you can take the first 3 quarters and throw them out the window because they have no bearing right now. Now it is a 1-point game favoring the BC Lions, but the big thing is now they have scored 17 unanswered points in the second half. And Calgary now is in a position where they have to look at themselves, regroup, and respond.
Well, he's taken it into his own hands. The final game of the regular season, it was an ugly win over Saskatchewan, but they did rally from a 17-point deficit.
I agree with you. It almost seemed like that game kind of rubbed off for a few quarters on. It took them a while to kind of get the flow going again, and whatever happened, whether it was Greg Mons, stripping the paint in the locker room at halftime, but whatever happened, they've come out a recharged group in the second half and have created opportunities and taken advantage of them, and now are in the lead 24-23.
Now the wheels are turning on both sidelines. Rod Harris trying to fire up the throng here at BC Place. Greg Mons told us yesterday that even though his strength is motivation, he didn't think he'd need to use that today. But apparently something happened at halftime to change the momentum. Here's Brock Preston. Can't get his hands on the rock, but now takes off. And Preston's still going. Up to the 33.
And how many times have you seen that where a receiver on a kickoff or a punt return bobbles a football and then ends up taking it all the way? Good field position for the Calgary offense to start on the 34-yard line. It's up to them now to get on track, move the football, put them at least in field goal range where they can at least attempt the Mark McLaughlin field goal, but more important, get some points for themselves now.
Well, this will test the mettle of the Stamps. McCoy still in. 6 receivers out. And a completion to Vince Danielson. And a first down at the 45. Raphael Robinson with a heavy hit on Danielson, who's slow to get up.
A heavy hit on Danielson, but you have really got to be impressed with the presence of Mike McCoy. He throws this ball on a rope. I mean, this is right in between the numbers. It's beautiful. It's coming right at you. Look at that tight spiral right between the double eights. Nice job at delivering the football.
The joints jumping, direct snap Preston, and it doesn't go for much. Not fooling the Lions defense. Benefield and Herman Smith, cheaters in the pile, and a short gain, maybe 2.
A short game, but they've obviously worked on that in practice. They saw something of the defensive lineup that allowed them to think that they could do that direct snap to Calvin Anderson, or in this case, Brock Preston, and exploit the defense. But as you say, the BC Lions would have none of it.
2nd and 8. McCoy's got to scramble out, can't get outside. It's Herman Smith again.
Tell you what, he is having himself one heck of a football game. He has had a game this year against these very Calgary Stampeders where he had 3 sacks, but boy, I tell you what, he is having fun today. He is all over the place. He stripped the football that caused a fumble that led to a touchdown by the BC Lions. He sacked the quarterback. He's been in their faces. He is a one-man wrecking crew on the defensive line for the BC Lions.
That ties a record for CFL playoff sacks in a game. Greg Mons first brought Herman Smith into the league with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He keeps playing like that, he'll be playing the Cats in the Grey Cup. Jimmy Cunningham brought down at the 39 after a 34-yard punt. A 1-point BC lead.
24-23, the Lions have clawed their way back at BC Place. Accommodation, tickets to the game, and travel are still available for the Grey Cup. There's the number to call, 1-800-268-8400. How good would it be to be here for that, Chris?
Well, Scott, it's only a 1-point lead, but if it held up, you better call that 800 number quickly. Here's the shovel toss inside. Don Blair Not going anywhere. Steve Anderson read the play. And it will be 2nd and long for Allen.
Well, they're pulling out all stops. Donnie Blair doing the shovel pass. That's a play that had so much success over the years when Flutie used to bounce it off to Robert Drummond. Unbelievable.
Well, you can see that Allen in the 3rd quarter bettered the numbers that he had in the 1st half. He's been red hot in the 2nd half. Wally Buono talked about how that extra week off can impact negatively on the team, and maybe that's the reason the Lions were so slow out of the gate. The pass knocked down, and now they'll have to punt the ball away.
Well, nice job of bringing the blitz. Jackie Keller again. They're not fooling anybody, but they're bringing everybody right now. Number 3 is going to pop up, put his hands right there, gets his elbow on it, eliminates the play. And as you say, you take a gamble every time you blitz that package, because had the ball been not blocked, number 81, Rod Harris, was wide open.
Marvin Coleman's back. Ran a couple back for touchdowns this year against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. At the 35, Coleman finds a seam. And Marvin Coleman's into BC territory at the 50. Well, the Lions capitalized on a Jimmy the Jet Cunningham punt return for a touchdown. Now it's Calgary.
Back at BC Place with Pinball Clemens, Damon Allen. His initials are DA. You know what it stands for and what it should mean if the Lions are to be successful.
Absolutely. DA stands for doing it alone. He's taking over this game. He's amazing when he does that, but he can't sit back. Last drive, I thought he sat back a little bit. He has to stay aggressive.
Let's see what happens. Chris and Chris.
Now Calgary's offense has to get aggressive. Mike McCoy enjoying good field position to start. But Allen Pitts, everybody jumping the gun, and the noise may be impacting on this Calgary offense because that was a mess from the get-go.
It was a mess, and Allen Pitts tried to anticipate the count, stop, stutter step, try to stop, thought, okay, I can go now. Even when he did go, he was way offside.
Procedures, Calgary number 53, still 1st down.
Well, they charged Graham with it, but it could have been a couple of receivers, too. And I think there's some concern here on the Calgary sidelines that it's not just the noise of the fans, but some artificial noise creating havoc, too. McCoy hit as he got rid of the ball, and it's ruled incomplete. But the pressure from David Benefield, Herm Smith and company remains a headline story in this Western Final.
Well, these guys are sharks, and they're feeding on Mike McCoy or whoever stands back there. I mean, David Benefield just runs right around Thomas Rayam, strips the football, and very fortunate that he was in a throwing motion, because otherwise it would have been considered a fumble, and who knows how that would have turned out.
2nd and 15. McCoy trying to bark signals. Against the flow, Rock Preston held up, and it's incomplete. Preston's going to argue there should have been interference because Antonio Armstrong was hanging on.
Chris, you know what? You're not allowed to deter the receiver in any case from going. On that play, as you say, Brock Preston felt that Antonio Armstrong, number 50, the BC Lions, grabbed him, not allowing him to try and make a catch. He's got a point, but that's Antonio. He sees the screen coming. Look at him right there. Grabs the hand. They're not shaking hands, baby. They're not exchanging pleasantries. That should have been called, but unfortunately, when you got the hands hitting, it can look accidental.
So the Lions defense does the job. Martino the punt. Cunningham lets it hit the turf again, and he'll step out at the 17-yard line. 37-yard Martino punt.
Right now.
Not savoring the 1-point lead, and it looks like Chris Wally Buono's made a decision. Dave Dickinson is starting to loosen up again, and I think Dickinson's coming in on the next Calgary series.
Well, he's definitely got his helmet on. He's throwing the football with Mike McCoy, and I think that's a sure sign, considering that for the past few quarters he's just had his hat on. So you can expect to see number 15 back in at the quarterback position.
Here's Allen. Long out to Jackson. And at the 25-yard line, Alfred Jackson with 8 yards.
Well, Alfred Jackson's a good story. Here's a guy that only played 2 games this year. He's had hamstring problems. He says, you know, it's not been my best. He's lining up wide. You want to put the ball in Action Jackson's hands as much as possible. Just runs a little go and come back to the football and then tries to break it up the field. Jackie Kellogg and company limited, but not before he picks up good first down yardage.
3 catches, 57 yards in the second half for Jackson. Second and short, Allen. He'll carry himself and should have the first down. David Allen, the number 2 passer in CFL history, behind only Ron Lancaster. He's also the number 4 rusher in CFL history.
Well, I think you hit it right on the head, Chris. I mean, you watch him run. He is what they consider or call an effortless runner. He doesn't look like he's even expending any energy. He runs so smooth, but he spins. You wouldn't think if you watch film on him that he'd played 15 years in this league. He looks as young as he did the first day he played.
Under 8 minutes remaining in regulation time in the Western Final. It's a 1-point BC lead. Mark Nora, and he runs into defensive tackle Mark Gunn.
You know, I watched the game unfold here, Chris, and fourth quarter's in here right now, and I'm looking at Robert Drummond, and as we see Mark Nora catching the football, he's been primarily the main running back today. You almost wonder if they're taking Drummond and putting him out, flanking him out wide as receiver to take Darryl Hall out. Darryl Hall is covering Robert Drummond. We're taking him out of the box. We're eliminating Darryl Hall. If they have that much respect for him, they're doing a good job.
Because most of that rushing yardage you saw provided by Allen and then Mark Nora. Drummond hasn't done much on the ground. Second down and 9 over the middle. Incomplete. Rod Harris, the intended receiver. So Calgary needed a defensive stand, and they get one.
Well, they brought the extra defensive back in, Eric Sutton, number 27, and he has excellent coverage on Rod Harris, who's just going to come across the middle. All he's trying to do is just get enough for the first down. You can Damon Allen sees him, puts the ball on there. Rod Harris gets his hands on it, but unfortunately cannot squeeze the football, cannot hang on to it, and they have to punt the football away.
Here's Louis. And Pasaglia. Coleman at his 45. And twists and turns into BC territory. 13-yard punt return for Marvelous Marvin. There's Dave Dickinson back at the controls, now trailing. Steve Harden, we talked about the flu going through the BC Lions. Harden, we're told, was sick at the bench, and the doctor is checking his pulse. Corey Mantica's been under the weather all week. You wouldn't know by the scoreboard. Lions with the lead. Dave Dickinson back in. Going deep. Brock Preston can't haul it in. He had a step on Scott Thomas, but the ball falls incomplete.
Well, as you say, Rock Preston right out of the backfield, just a dart pattern. Straight up the seam, one-on-one, trying to beat the coverage of the safety, Scott Thomas. Dave Dickinson throws the football, and as you say, he did have a step on him. Just unfortunately could not squeeze the football, or it would have been a big, big play for this Calgary offense.
Thomas has a fumble recovery that seemed to turn the tide in this second half. Dave Dickinson said yesterday, we've got to make some plays in the fourth quarter. That's certainly the case here, and he's back in to do just that. 6:20 left. Second and 10. Dickinson under pressure again, and throws the ball. Let's see, they're saying incomplete. Looked like he was downed by Johnny Scott.
Well, Johnny Scott, and again, his partner, Herman Smith, back in the backfield again. Good initial protection by the offensive line. Dave Dickinson, who admits he will hold on to the ball a little longer than normal, waiting for something to open up, to develop. He just tries to throw the football away, hoping to avoid a sack, and they're going to give it to him. But it looked like he was in the grasp of Johnny Scott.
Well, we're told that at the Calgary bench, there's been an indication that Tony Martino may have suffered a hip flexor pull, and it may be affecting his punting. Let's see what happens here as Martino tries to pin the Lions deep. Nothing wrong with that punt. Inside the 10. But Cunningham up the sidelines with a burst from the Jet. 5:56 to go, and a 1-point Lion lead. A dozen for Cunningham after a 43-yard Martino punt. And you can see he is limping a bit. In his 10th year, he started in BC as an understudy. They thought Louis Pizzaglia was getting to the end and maybe Martino would take his place. He's been in the league 10 years and he's still facing Pizzaglia on the other side.
Well, he's doing a great job, and I know they're real happy to have him back. He tried out down south of the border and was welcomed back with open arms by Wally Buono, and it didn't work out for him.
BC starts at its own 21. Allen comes one way, looks the other, looking down the sidelines. Donnie Blair well covered by rookie Shad Chris, and the Lions think there should have been a penalty call on the play.
Well, definitely close coverage by Shadrick Chris on Donnie Blair. Shadrick Chris, who is the fastest Stampeder in the time 40s, and that's how they determined that step for step with Donnie Blair. And obviously a lot of jostling for the football. And, you know, as long as it's not really intentional, I like the fact they're letting that go. Let the players play. Don't let them call decide this football game.
Quick shotgun snap, 2nd and 10. Allen gets outside, and Cunningham, no! The pass incomplete. Cunningham unable to get a foot down. And Allen's going to come over and have a word with the official who made the call immediately.
Well, another time, another opportunity where Damon Allen gets to the outside. Could have ran with the football, but he sees Jimmy the Jet open, throws the football. As we see the Jet catch him, his feet come down outside on the line, and the referees, you got 2 referees right here. They're Johnny on the spot. They make the call.
There's Pizzaglia. Good punt. Coleman across midfield again. So Calgary cannot complain about the field position they're getting in this 4th quarter.
No, this is the 3rd opportunity for this offense taken at center field or in BC Lions territory. BC Lions defense has done a great job so far, not allowing them to even attempt a field goal. But you got to wonder again, the offense doing what they've been doing are going to have to start moving the football just a little bit to get them to punt the ball away, to change the field of position right now.
There was the fumble recovery early in the 3rd quarter. David Benefield getting to McCoy. Dickinson back, but still the pressure is unrelenting. And again, that crowd may be upsetting the offensive production of the Calgary Stampeders. They don't get the playoff here. Another procedure call.
Procedure, Calgary number 50, still 1st down.
Well, Jay McNeil, but you know what, exactly, and that's what the benefit of having the home field advantage in this biggest game is. How about the 13th man, the crowd? You gotta have it.
That's the way it was in the 80s here in this stadium. Here's the hitch. Dowdell tripped up almost immediately. Dale Joseph, the tackle, is a couple for Dowdell. 11. Dickinson hangs on and delivers to Travis Moore. That's a gutsy call by Dickinson. If he gets sacked, they're out of field goal range. They're not thinking field goal right now.
Well, I just like the way this guy does things. I mean, what he sees, the way he reacts, and his presence on the field, that's what makes this guy a winner.
Stampeders squandered a 16-point halftime lead, but now are in a position to regain the advantage with 2:43 on the clock. You know, we saw Danny McManus work his magic today, Chris. This guy's been compared to McManus because of his cool, obviously not the experience, but the same type of quarterback.
Well, I gotta like the fact they put him in the back in the football game. Went with Mike McCoy after he got injured. He wasn't moving the football club. They come back to Dickinson, and things are going.
They fake to Preston, get it to Dowdell, and Marcus Dowdell down inside the 10.
Well, that's the exact same play they tried to hit earlier, where Dale Joseph beat the block of Jay McNeil, came underneath and made the play. But this time, they get out there, they get the block. See the receivers blocking downfield. 50, Jay McNeil gets the block. Big Chill, Freddie Childress down leading the way. They're all fired up right now. They smell the end zone.
First and goal from inside the 10. Rocco Romano with the big block, 2. Dickinson. And a completion to Pitts. They'll mark it out at the 3. Under 2 minutes to go. And a touchdown would be enormous. A field goal, I don't think, would have Dickinson and the Stamps feeling comfortable about a 2-point lead.
Well, they're just moving the ball methodically, and I mean, a lot of people don't appreciate what Alan Pitts brings to the football club, but it's like taking a football and throwing it into a net. He just makes it look so effortlessly when he catches the football, and he always comes up with a catch.
The fans all on their feet now, trying to disrupt the cohesiveness of the Stampeders in this play call. Here comes the rush. Brock Preston is nailed as he catches the ball, and Bo Lewis isn't going to let him out of his grasp.
What a big play by Bo Lewis in the BC defense, not falling for the play action, not allowing Brock Preston to slide unnoticed to the other side of the football field. He's faking to the right, going to throw back. A throwback screen to Brock Preston. Bo Lewis stays with his read, stays with his man, and limits the game and forces Mark McLaughlin to come on and kick a field goal.
Dickinson normally holds Jack Kellogg, who did a good job late in the first half.
And remember, that snap was a bad snap. He picked it off the turf and pinned it in time for McLaughlin to kick it.
19 yards. McLaughlin puts it through. Check that, 14 yards. There's a flag down, however.
And the Lions are indicating it's against the Calgary Stampeders.
They'll have to do it again. Wally Bono wants a clarification of the call.
Time count violation. Calgary number 3, still 3rd down.
And again, you've got to chalk that up to the noise. It's a 10-yard penalty. So now it's a 24-yard field goal as McLaughlin tries to kick Calgary into the lead. And does. And boy, Jackie Kellogg looks comfortable pinning the football.
Well, he definitely not only pinning the football, both snaps were away from the body where he had to grab the football, bring it back, and still set it on the pin, spin the laces toward the goalpost, and get it down quick enough for Mark McLaughlin to go through his normal motion and not wait. Just a nice job. He's got his finger on the tee. The ball's going to come behind. Puts it, spins it. You can see the laces, doesn't get him all the way around. Realizes he hasn't got that time. Mark McLaughlin, again, as cool as a cucumber, puts it through the, and 3 more points. And now the Stampeders have a 26-24 lead with 1:24 on the clock.
What an afternoon of football. Hamilton and Montreal in a classic. And now 84 seconds left on the clock. And Damon Allen has to engineer at least 3 as he faces a 26-24 deficit.
Well, you know, we've got 2 kickers here today who have kicked big-time field goals. Last year, McLaughlin winning the Grey Cup over Hamilton. Louis Pasaglia, who can think back when he beat the Baltimore Stallions with that field goal kick?
But Louis' range isn't what it used to be. His longest of the year is 47 yards. And that came against the Stampeders. Here we go. Allen, quickly to Donnie Blair. Blair nailed by Coleman at the 43-yard line. 8 on the first down play. Well, McLaughlin's done his job. Will Pasaglia get a chance to do his? Louis not as reliable as he used to be, but here's Allen. Fumbles the ball, and it's in the hands of William Hampton. Calgary's got the football with 69 seconds to go.
Well, Chris, the man you'd most like to have control of football in this situation, Damon Allen, quarterback draw, wants to run for the first down. Sees where he's going to go, tucks the football away. You can see it's tucked away as he comes through the line. A hand reaches through and punches it through, and I believe it was Jeff Traversy who gets a mid on him, or Steve Anderson, 92, was in the vicinity. But what a play by the defensive line of the Calgary Stampeders. And now they are 109 away. Can they kill the clock, Chris, from going to the cup?
You know, both teams tell you time and time again, minimize your mistakes. And at the worst possible time, a critical mistake by Damon Allen. Boy, Steve Anderson, if it was he who knocked it loose, not quite up to Herman Smith's day, but it's been big.
Oh, he's had a big day as well, you're right. But I think right now you got to look at BC Lions. Remember, they still have a timeout.
See what happens.
So stop them. The clock stops. If they get them, they got to take them down. If they can't get them out of bounds, stop the clock. Give your offense one last maybe chance to try and get it to field goal range. But you got to do it now, and you got to stop them.
Can't allow a first down. And the Stamps have the ball at the BC 51. Fitting that the ball would bounce into the hands of William Hampton, who's been a ball hawk all year with 8 interceptions, a couple of fumble recoveries in the regular season, and now a big one in the Western Final.
I know.
And you know for sure that the Calgary Stampeders are saying, whoever touches this football, wrap it up, because you know they're going to try and strip it out of you.
Brock Preston. And Preston with a burst, and he's got a first down. That could be the final nail.
Well, nice job of running the football by Rock Preston. Here's a guy they're not scared to give the football to. As you say, he's not your regular running back. Calvin Anderson back home nursing an ankle injury. Will probably play next week if they advance to the Grey Cup. And boy, it looks like they're going well on their way right now. But woo, he just broke that, kept the legs churning, and moved the clock.
The champions were on the ropes, but they're back in control. Preston again. Now inside the 35, 43 seconds on the clock, and have the Lions use the timeout? Yes. So a timeout called by BC, and then the defense will have to stop the second down play of the Stampeders. It's going to be 2nd and 6.
Well, you hate to say that it comes down to this play, but Chris, it really does. Now they've used their clock, they've used the timeout. You cannot allow the Calgary Stampeders to advance this football any further right now. Remember, they'll still probably attempt a field goal if they're unsuccessful.
We're 43 seconds away from a rematch of the '98 Grey Cup. Our congratulations to Ron Lancaster and the Tiger Cats, who emerged this afternoon from the east. They're throwing, and Dowdell has it, and Dowdell with more. Marcus Dowdell spun down at the 14.
Well, you know what? You want to talk about courage? You want to talk about in-your-face football? That is exactly what Dave Dickinson just did there. They didn't have to throw the football. They could have handed it off like they did the previous 2 plays to Rock Preston. They do a little play-action pass to Preston, get the ball to Dowdell, rub it in your face, and he does the rest himself, picks up a nice run, a nice first down, and as they say, with 29 seconds and ticking, it's almost over, and the fat lady's just about to sing.
go down a couple of times now. Dave Dickinson knocked out of the box for a while, but he came back and made enough of those fourth quarter plays, he said, that would be necessary today.
Well, you know what? Wally Bono also came on. He said experience is only valuable if you learn from it and use it. And they did today. And his experience told him to put Dave Dickinson back in the football game. And as a result, he was rewarded with this victory. And as you say, we have a rematch of last year's Grey Cup. The Calgary Stampeders are going to the Cup to meet the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
9th Western final in the 90s for Wally Bono. He has his 5th victory. And two bitter adversaries meet at midfield. It will indeed be an encore in 1999. And the Lions' roar has been silenced here in Vancouver this afternoon. But what a football game. And these BC Lions came back from a big first half deficit to make it quite an afternoon.
Well, they really did. The thing that really impressed me as well is the tenacity and the toughness of the Calgary Stampeders quarterbacks. Both Dave Dickinson and Mike McCoy hung in there. They took a beat. We talked about Neil Smith and the defensive line of the BC Lions. They were in the backfield all day, and yet those quarterbacks engineered enough offense to put points on the board to allow them to score and go to the Grey Cup next week.
Well, they get their hands on the Western Division trophy. Rocco Romano, one of the captains. But there's another piece of hardware they're more interested in. Scott?
Thanks very much, Chris. Here's Dave Dickinson. Dave, you're going back to the Grey Cup, and this time you're going to be at the controls. Tell us about today.
Well, we started off nice and strong again, but we kind of stalled in the second half, and you know, I didn't feel like I was 100% out there, and I thought we'd give Mike McCoy a shot, and they did a nice job. They broke our protection down and came back in and was happy to make some plays.
I know you want to enjoy all this, but we have to ask the question, how is your shoulder, and is a week enough time?
I mean, it's going to be enough time. You got it, you got it. It'll be enough time. I'm excited to go there as a starter, and, you know, I've taken a lot of lumps this whole year. It's just another hurdle I got to overcome, and I'm going to do it.
Congratulations, Dave. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Dave Dickinson of the Calgary Stampeders, who win at 26-24. They're going to face the Tiger Cats in the Grey Cup. We're back in a moment.